Hey there, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Multiple Streams of Income podcast. This is episode 18, and I'm going to be featuring a software product that not only rivals Zoom, in fact, I'm using it while I'm recording this, but I think personally it's far superior in many, many ways. So I was fortunate enough to get connected with the developer of the software, Mr. Rick Raddatz. I think that's how I say his last name. I'll find out in a little bit. And so this is the first time I'm featuring a piece of software, and honestly, I did not expect to encounter this, and I've been really, really blown away by what it can do, and also where this is the Multiple Streams of Income podcast. There is an income generating avenue with this piece of software. So stay tuned and take in that interview, that call that I'm doing with Rick. Before we do that, I want to just touch base on some of the most recent episodes in case you missed any of those. And I'm just going to move you around here. I'm doing this recording on my iPad, just to be a little different this time. So the last episode, I had Scott McGrath of Nexus International, where Scott walks us through the ins and outs of trusts that he specializes in setting up. There's some really good info in there. Episode 16 was when I had Sean Hull of Aspire Partners on, and that was a really good episode as well. If you've missed that, definitely take that in. If you're looking for an awesome revenue stream possibility with Aspire Partners, I can get you set up with that. And there are some really, really, really big, potentially big opportunities there. Before that, in episode 15, I had Donnie Doria of Metal Stacks. So anyone who's got an interest in acquiring precious metals and the business opportunity that comes along with that, do not miss that. Metal Stacks is a fantastic company, and they're just getting going, and they are growing in leaps and bounds. So check that out as well. And then before that, episode 14 was with Kelly Foote of Two Can Win. And Two Can Win is revolutionizing the penny auction, the online penny auction system. And there are some fantastic items and products being won every single day for next to nothing in some of those deals. I'm not going to say that happens all the time, but some people are really cashing in on some fantastic deals with Two Can Win, and they have a very lucrative social influencer income stream option available. So don't miss that out. Go back to episode 14, listen to 14, 15, 16, 17, and that brings us up to today, episode 18, where I'm talking with Rick about MEETN. And MEETN, you're going to learn more about that here in the next few minutes. So stick around and we will talk with Rick. So thanks for joining me today, Rick, on my Multiple Streams of Income podcast. This is the first video one that I've attempted, and I think it's very fitting that we do it this way. I'll have the audio version up on Apple Podcasts and all that as well. But so yeah, I had the pleasure of being introduced to you, I think a couple of weeks ago, through one of my contacts, and
Yep.
You know, he reached out and he's like, "Hey, I know this guy who created something better than Zoom," and I'm like, "Really?" Because you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like somebody saying, you know, "Hey, I didn't like Windows operating system, so I came up with my own." But anyway, so I was like, okay, I respected.
Well, actually, I had a business partner who did that.
Oh, okay.
His name was David Lawrence. He was the principal architect of FreeBSD, which was a very techy operating system that competed against Linux back in the day. And like there was a time, I think, when it could have gone FreeBSD versus Linux, and
yeah.
But FreeBSD became the operating system that Steve Jobs picked when Steve Jobs was away from Apple and did Next computers. And then when Steve Jobs rejoined Apple, that operating system became Mac OS X.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so my former business partner on the Instant Teleseminar product was the principal architect of essentially Mac OS X.
Nice, and I hope he got well compensated.
No, it was a shareware. It's all free. It was a volunteer effort. Yeah. Now,
Nice.
I think he did very well with consulting. Like Google hired him for like $10,000 an hour. $10,000 an hour for scalability consulting back when they were first getting going. So
That's
if
a good
Google hires
rate.
you for scalability consulting, you're the guy.
Yeah, you're the man for sure.
Yeah.
So, so give us, I guess, give the listeners, the audience, a little background on yourself. You know, don't have to go into too much detail, but how you got from point A to today.
Well, whenever people ask me that, I always think of the Steve Martin movie, The Jerk, where he opens the movie saying, "I was born a poor black child." So obviously I was not born a poor black child, but no, I grew up as one of those computer geeky kind of kids. Taught myself how to program in the 5th grade. By high school, I had my own little software company, and with a partnership, I was the lead programmer on a tool and die shop cost estimating system that cost $10,000 per installation. So I have 4 kids, all of whom are in high school or older, and so now I realize how weird I was in high school. Like what high school kid is the lead programmer of a tool and die shop cost estimating system?
That's awesome.
But that led to me being recruited by Microsoft as a sophomore in college, and I ended up doing 3 internships with Microsoft and then full time with Microsoft. So I was there from '88 until 2000 at Microsoft, and that was kind of those are the golden years of Microsoft. Just after they got established, but before they were really dominant, and then that whole arc. And then I went out on my own and became a serial entrepreneur. I launched 4 different SaaS products, software as a service, basically subscription software. So I launched 4 different SaaS products for small business owners in the early 2000s. So that was like audio hosting, video hosting, opt-in page hosting, and conference call hosting. And each became a multi-million-dollar revenue stream. So that was nice. Then I retired for like 16 years and did political philosophy. I wanted to solve our country's political divide.
Nice.
That's a whole nother story.
How's that going?
Well, intellectually, I've done it. If you think about politics, there's really 2 components to politics. There's the game of politics, and good luck with that. That'll take care of itself, right?
Yeah.
But separately, there is this intellectual component to our divide. I mean, people sincerely disagree with each other on capitalism versus socialism and so on. And that's a pretty fundamental divide, capitalism versus socialism. And of course, there's 1,000 variations of that too. And so it's a very complex problem. But to my satisfaction, I've done it. I've solved that intellectual problem. And I can prove it because it's not a guess or a theory. It's that which I can prove with logic. And that's because I can prove that the laws of economics are what they are. That proof was done 82 years ago. And I can prove that there are 5 types of human action to worry about. And I can prove the laws of economics govern all 5. The laws of economics govern all human action. And so the result is this 5 economy understanding of how the world works and how the world could work better if only we accepted this. And so I'm launching a nonprofit that will help promote this new political philosophy. I mean, how often do you have a new political philosophy?
No.
You know, about every couple hundred years, right?
I look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah, well, you can check it out at winwinrevolution.org because under this new philosophy, the right gets limited government and economic freedom. The political left, within those limits, gets a very active government and maximum social justice. And then the center gets the combination. So really, it's a win-win-win. Michael Scott would approve. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So the nonprofit website is winwinrevolution.org. And so
Nice.
now to bring us up to date, I've now come out of retirement because the nonprofit is kind of ready to go on its own, and I'm launching MEETN, which is
Yeah.
the tool that's better than Zoom. Well, at least if you're a business person,
Right.
because if you're a business person, sometimes you need to promote, sometimes you need to close a sale, sometimes you need to educate before or after the sale, sometimes you need to motivate.
Right.
And if you have like a big organization, lots of salespeople, you need to duplicate. You need to have
Right.
your best salespeople do the pitch, and other people can play the video and so on. And
Mhm.
and Zoom and other competitors, they don't do those kinds of things. Well, they help you have a meeting, but then they don't have the extra tools you need to succeed in your meeting. And so
Right.
that's where we go the extra mile. We give you these extra tools.
Mhm.
So you can play a video with just one click. You can have a pop-up with just one click promoting your link. You can actually
Mhm.
pop up your order page right inside of MEETN with one click. So we have all these little one-click features that help
Right.
people do business.
Yeah.
And that's where in that, I mean, there's kind of an old rule in business that you don't have to be too innovative. You just have to be 10% better than the competition.
Yeah.
And if we're so that's my claim to being 10% better than Zoom for business people, which
Right.
is the market that has the money. So like my
Yeah.
mother-in-law is still going to use Zoom because she's, trapped in the Zoom momentum, and that's fine.
Well, you'll
But
have
if
to
you're
disown her, but yeah.
but she's going to use the free version of Zoom, costing them money.
Right. Yes.
But if you're in business, you need to promote, you need to train, and so on. You're going to
Mhm.
want our more complete set of tools.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the things that I had noted down here. I mean, number one, I guess my question was why take on Zoom, but that was why you saw an opportunity for a better
Well,
a
well,
better product.
like every one of my SaaS products was launched at a time when there was an already established free version.
Hmm.
So, like the conference call product was my biggest product, and I
Right.
launched it long after freeconferencecall.com.
Yeah.
But I was 10% better.
Mm.
We had recordings when they didn't. We had more sophisticated replays. We had the ability to fill out a little form, and then you have kind of a
Hmm.
web page to promote your event ahead
Yeah.
of time. And so, if you're in business, the $67 a month you might pay me is nothing if you can produce the events that you want to produce
Right.
more completely and better
Right.
than with a free product. So
Yeah.
my success competing against free products
Hmm.
is what gave me confidence to not be afraid of Zoom. It never fazed me at all
Yeah.
that Zoom is worth billions of dollars and has
Yeah.
300 million customers and whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All I need is a few thousand customers, and I know how to get
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Um, and if I have a few thousand customers, I'm profitable, and then you can't kill me. And
Yeah.
then I just have to you keep on innovating. And my theory
Hmm.
there is that if I can catch up to Zoom, I can beat Zoom. So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
to be fair, Zoom has a lot of little things going on, but that also adds to their complexity. Like
Hmm.
in almost every case, when someone wants something, Zoom does it, but good luck finding it. The
Yeah.
like the raise hand feature is buried under reactions.
Yeah.
The whiteboard feature is buried under screen sharing.
Hmm.
Um, like why? I can't explain it. Okay, now
Yeah, it's true.
I'm thankful for it because
Mhm,
it's those little degrees of complexity that create an
mhm.
opening for me as
Yeah,
a competitor.
yeah.
So again, for all the other SaaS or entrepreneurs out there that might want to compete against the big companies,
Mhm.
there's almost always space. I mean,
Yeah.
the big companies are focused on bigger opportunities, different
Mhm.
mechanics. They
Yeah.
care about different features, therefore, and they can't do everything. So that leaves room for you to specialize and get traction, get profitable, and grow from there.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, a better mousetrap, I guess.
Yeah,
as they say. Um, so the key, yeah, I mean, you already touched on most of them, but the key features that MEETN offers the average, we'll say marketer, because in this case, most of the
sure.
people who will be listening and watching this are, are marketing in some program or they're interested in what MEETN can do, as well as the affiliate program, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, so the main features, somebody's using MEETN for the first time and they want to experiment with the features. First of all, anyone watching this, listening to it, should definitely try it. You can try it for 14 days. What is it, a $1
Yeah,
initial?
right now it's a $1 trial. We're actually going to make that a free trial.
Okay,
Yeah,
free trial for 14 days. And
yeah.
then after that, it's $14 a month.
Well, we have different price points. We have a $9.95 a price point, $9.95 a month, and that's for kind of the basic version that does everything the Zoom equivalent does. We're a little bit less expensive and offer more features. And then our highest price product is $49.95. That's equivalent to what you would pay Zoom $488 for, because all of their add-ons
Wow.
really add up. You got to pay extra
Wow.
for 500 members, pay even more extra for 1,000 attendees. You got to pay extra for webinar features. That's separate. You got to pay extra
Mhm.
for the audio bundle they have for dial-in by
Yeah.
phone and so on. And
Yeah.
so MEETN offers a huge price advantage if you need all those features.
Mhm.
Um, but we make money on that level. So I figure, why charge more? If I charge more, I'm trying to optimize the money per customer. Well, I
Right.
want the most customers.
Mhm.
If someone comes along and they need 1,000-person capacity, well, that's a person that's promoting MEETN to thousands or tens of thousands of
That's
people.
pretty good. Yeah.
To get 1,000 people on the call, you need to promote to 100,000 people typically.
Yes.
So someone who
Right.
needs 1,000 people capacity, they're promoting me to hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 people.
Mhm.
Well, that's the person I want as a customer.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
why try
exactly.
to why and there aren't that many of them. So why try to make the most money on that customer? I just want all of those customers, and so I need to create a better experience and a better price,
Mhm.
and then our expectation is that after we kind of get established and become a thing, whoosh, we have the potential to really take
Mhm.
over.
Very cool. So, how long has the development process? I mean, obviously, you've got history
Yeah.
in software similar. So, obviously, you took that, you wrapped it up in here, and made it better. And
Well, remember, I came from the conference call business, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
InstantTeleseminar.com.
Mhm.
And so that business, that was a wonderful business. It just kept on growing and growing and growing on its own. We did zero marketing. It's
Mhm.
just the use of the service promoted the service, just like with the webinar product.
Right.
Um, but then in 2013, our business was still growing, but I could see that video technology was becoming ready. Earlier than that, it wasn't really ready,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
video technology was becoming ready. And I turned to my partners. One of them was this David Lawrence, the principal architect of FreeBSD. And I said, okay, guys, I know we're making a lot of money. I know our business is growing, but if you think about where the industry is headed, it's going to move to video.
Yeah.
We saw that with YouTube.
Right.
People love
Right.
video, and so we should start now, um, getting a video product in the
Mhm.
marketplace.
Mhm.
And my partners said no. Now, why'd they say no? Because they were my development partners. It would be a lot of work for them, and they were already making
Right.
millions of dollars, and the business is growing. So it's like
Yeah.
why do extra work? We're doing fine.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but think of the trends. We're going to peak and we're going to go down, and technology always gets replaced, and so we have to reinvent ourselves.
Mhm.
And sure enough, in 2015, the instant teleseminar business flattened out.
Mm.
And so I talked to my partners again. I said, look, guys, what I predicted 2 years ago came true. We're flattening out now. We're going to peak. And then, oh, no, we're still kind of growing, actually. It's just a flattening. And it happens in business. And it's a solid product. People love our product. And so they're not worried. And I'm like, guys, this is the turning point, the inflection point or whatever. It's going to go down. And sure enough, by 2017, it was clearly going down, not quickly. One of the nice things about a SaaS model, software as a service, is that all of your customers don't leave at once.
Right.
Like if you're selling an info product, you need, the sales you get each month, those are the sales you get. Okay. And if you're suddenly not cool, your sales might crash and you have no income. With a SaaS product, even if you're no longer the coolest kid on the block, people have come accustomed to you. They've woven you into their whole system, and they're not going to just jump ship overnight. There's too much of a switching cost.
Right.
And so one of the nice things about a SaaS product is that if it does go south, it goes south slowly, typically. Okay.
So you got time to regroup.
Yeah. Like I had a video hosting product I mentioned, and I launched my video hosting product 2 years before YouTube. When YouTube came out, and they were on the cover of Newsweek or whatever when I first heard about them, and they're breaking about 100 million downloads a week or whatever the number was, I forget. Yeah. And I looked at my stats, and I'm at like 10,000 or 10 million downloads a week. So I was 10% the size of YouTube.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, I'm not beating them, but I'm in the game, right? I'm in the game. So I think, well, if I learn from YouTube and reconfigure a little bit, then I could be on the cover of Newsweek,
Yeah.
But it was already too late. The next week they doubled. The next week they doubled. The next week they. I mean, whoosh, right? Yeah. And I just never. It never happened. But that product lingered on and was profitable until 2016. Okay, wow. That's because people had I wasn't getting a lot of new customers, new subscribers, but the old subscribers they already had their videos on their website and lots of little websites, and they didn't want to undo all their websites,
Right.
And so. Although a week before I closed the business, I had someone sign up. I called him up and I said, I didn't say it this way, but I was thinking you fool. Why would you sign up for this crappy old video technology when there's YouTube doing HD video and all that kind of stuff? Because I launched the video tool back in the day of dial-up modems in 2003. All right, dial-up modems.
I remember.
So 56 kilobits per second. So
that was a good one.
So little postage stamp size video, but it was video, and it was cool, and I made millions of dollars for that. But anyway, I had someone sign up in 2016. I called them up and I said, I'm just curious. Well, I want to let you know we're closing the business next week, but I wanted to let you know that, and I'm just curious, why did you sign up? He says, well, you gave that example on your homepage about how to do this cool white background video, and I want to do that kind of video, so I signed up. So my marketing was still working.
Yeah.
But so that's an example of the longevity of a SaaS business model, and so that gives a business owner time to adjust. So in 2017, I realized that my partners were not going to be with me ever on this idea of doing the video product. So I negotiated with them and I bought them out. I borrowed some money and I bought them out, did an SBA loan, and took control of the cash flow of the company and used that cash flow to hire my own development team that would do what I said, and a couple of years later, we have MEETN.
Nice.
So that was the timeline.
Nice.
So I actually wrote the first spec for MEETN in 2013.
Wow, yeah, that's a while ago.
It was a long, but it kind of sat on the shelf for like 5 years or whatever.
Right. Did you have the name and everything in mind back then?
Originally, it was called Meeting Circles.
Okay.
My idea was that people's photos, because video was still kind of new then.
Right.
But
Right.
people's, I suspect a lot of people would just use their photos, but their photos or their videos would all be in circles, because circles kind of,
Mm-hmm.
all you need is your head typically
Right.
for these kind of meetings, and so that fits into circles real well. And circles kind of compress and fit. You can fit a lot of circles on the screen together
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes.
So originally I was calling it meeting circles. And I think I even owned the domain name meetingcircles.com. I forget.
Right.
But then I started realizing that that the circle thing was just kind of like the little gimmick that I was thinking of. But when people share their screen, that doesn't work. They need the
No.
16:9 ratio then.
That's right.
And so I finally just kind of gave up on that little pet. In writing, they call it a darling, right? You have to kill your
Yes.
darlings when you do good writing. And so that was my
Yeah.
little darling, was this little meeting
Mm.
circles theme. So I just decided to just make it, regular, and just 16:9 ratio videos. And then I was on a website. I think it's called Brand Bucket, if I
Yeah,
remember
I've heard
right.
of that. Yeah.
I can go up and Google it, or check it out right now. Brandbucket.com. I think it's Brand Bucket. Yeah. So I went to brandbucket.com and I was just looking through their names.
Mm.
And they had MEETN.com,
Nice.
MEETN.
Yeah.
MEETN.com for sale for $5,000.
Yeah.
And so in like 2014, I think it was, I bought MEETN.com,
Mm.
not knowing that I would ever really do it, but
Mm.
it was just too good of a name to pass up.
That's perfect. Yeah.
And I figured that if I was going to do a meeting product, that would be the perfect name. And so, Zoom is a 4-letter word, but MEETN is a 5-letter word,
Yeah.
and it's not quite as verbish as like I'm doing a Zoom, or I'm going to Zoom, or that kind of thing, but it's close. I'm
It
going to the
is.
meet. I'm going to the meeting. Are you going to the meeting?
Yeah.
I'm going to the meeting. And nice meeting you, right? Nice meeting
Yeah.
you. And where are you meeting from? Okay, right. So we can insert the word meeting in a lot of places, and there are some
Yeah.
movies where people are saying, in kind of like a Southern accent, they're saying, "Are you going to the meeting?" And
Yeah.
so for a while, I was describing meeting as kind of a redneck Zoom, because you're going to the meeting, right?
Yeah.
But then I ended up offending some people who were actual well, their family was from the South, and they hate being called rednecks, and so
Oh,
they
yes.
weren't a fan of that description.
Yeah.
But I don't mean any offense by it. I'm just being funny, or
No,
trying to
no.
be.
No.
But yeah, so we got this name MEETN. It's five. I also own MEE.TN. I think
Okay, nice.
Tanzania is .TN, or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
And so MEE.TN, I also own that if I want an even shorter version, but that can be
Mm-hmm.
confusing to people too. They kind of expect the
Yes.
.com still.
Yeah.
Unless you're really cool, and I'm not cool enough to be, Will I am, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mhm.
but I own it just in case. And maybe we'll use that for replays or that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so we got the name, and 2018, or actually 2019, we started working on the product. And now here we are 3 years later, and we're in the market, got thousands of customers, about to
Nice.
turn cash flow positive, which is a big milestone. And I
Excellent.
got investors, because it turned out I couldn't fund this all myself.
Mhm.
So to accelerate development, I brought on investors, and I resisted doing that for years. I always had people asking to invest in my businesses, and I always turned them down, because I just
Yeah.
love this 100% control thing. Because then
It's yeah.
I like, I'm the kind of guy who will work harder for someone else than for myself. you know. Um,
Yeah.
so if
Yeah.
I have investors, I know I owe them my commitment, and so on.
That's a good
And,
it's a good way to
so
look at it.
I never took on investors, but this is just too big of a project. So I took on investors, and I'm very glad I did.
Mm.
And you don't lose any money. You lose percentages,
Yes.
but you accelerate the value of the company.
Right.
And so you're making more money faster. You're creating more wealth faster by taking on investors. And that's the truth. And you got to look at it that way. Now, if you do it wrong, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
But
Right.
so you gotta know how much money you need to accelerate to the next level.
Right.
And that acceleration is worth X percent of the company and so on. So the numbers have to work out. But in my case, the numbers worked out. And
Nice.
So the investors helped make this all possible. And now and we're thinking about like after we're cash flow positive, then we got a great story for the next round of investors. It's like we know how to do this. So now we'll raise like $10 million on a $200 or $200 million valuation or whatever in the future. We're not there yet.
Right.
But we can start thinking about these kind of numbers.
Yeah.
Because like we're beating Zoom in the marketplace with some of our sales efforts. So like we have an MLM company that they have like 100,000 active distributors.
Yeah.
Well, every distributor needs those sales tools I mentioned, right?
Yes.
So, and Zoom doesn't have it. No one else has it. So we do. So they want to go with us. And they were 1 day away from going with Zoom. And that's when they heard about us. They delayed their decision. They spent a few weeks trying out the product, and now they're going with us. So if we can beat Zoom in the marketplace, in that kind of way, that's a valuable company. We can do something with that.
Absolutely. I mean, I have already started, spreading the word in a small way, but I plan on, especially with this podcast, getting the word out. A lot of my contacts are MLM companies or direct sales companies, company owners, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, it'd be interesting.
We haven't created it yet, but let's create a little landing page for you so everyone listening here can get the David special. So how about if we create MEETN.com/David D?
Yeah, sure.
And that'll be I don't know what the special offer will be yet, but we'll come up with some kind of special offer so people get a better price than they would on our homepage. So if you're watching or listening to this podcast, go to MEETN.com. That's MEET and then the letter N as in Nancy. So MEETN.com /David D.
Nice.
And that'll be the special offer for this podcast.
Excellent. If that name's available.
Well, that's a fair question.
I know when I created mine. Yeah, when I created mine, I did D-Dog it. A few other variations were not available, I didn't think.
Yeah, David D has not taken yet. So
there you go.
It's available for us. Yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And yeah, if you're listening to this, for real, you got to give this a chance. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing nowadays. People don't want to take the time to even try something, even if they know it's better or they hear it's better. It's like, I got to install.
Yeah. The way I like to look at it is in phases. We're going to get the early adopters first. And this is not new. I mean, I didn't invent this idea. This comes from Jeffrey A. Moore in Inside the Tornado and Crossing the Chasm and so on. But you're going to get the early adopters first, and everyone else will resist, like you say. But those early adopters make you profitable, hopefully, and they help bulletproof your product. And they get you ready for the early adopters. Jeffrey A. Moore calls them. What was it? Early? What was the first term I said? Well, there's the like early adopters and then the late early adopters or something like that. But whatever it is, the point is you're not going to get everybody all at once. You're going to get the people who are more open to it, and that's progress. And then there's the potential, especially within a particular niche or industry. There's the potential, especially if you focus on that niche or industry. There's a potential to become like the thing in that industry, or that niche. And I think that's really the key, because like we're focused on helping business owners sell.
Yes.
Okay, close that sale. Promote the right link at the right way at the right time.
Yeah.
Like on Zoom, you paste your link in the chat and it scrolls away. That's no good.
It's horrible. It's
I mean,
as of the time of this, yeah, unless they
yeah,
change something.
I mean, it makes it possible, but it doesn't make it right. And
No.
so with our call to action pop-up, you got your own headline, your own subheadline, your own logo. You pick the colors, you pick the button text and where the button goes. That's the call to action pop-up. So you fill in the blanks for like 5 minutes ahead of time, and then in MEETN time, you just click.
Yeah.
And you get the pop-up. So that's how MEETN beats Zoom when it comes to promoting a link. It's just a better
sales tools.
Yeah. So anyway, but back to that, like the progression of customers. Our goal, our business plan, is to get profitable and keep adding features without adding complexity, and keep focused on the needs of the marketplace that we're serving, small business owners and below. Let's say and below, I mean like the business opportunity seekers, the MLMers, that kind of thing.
Right.
So people with pseudo businesses or they're entrepreneurial, but maybe not a traditional business structure. Right. So we're going to focus on small business and below, and we're just going to keep on improving. And then eventually, we hope to become a thing where our free version spreads virally, and we're a player.
Like honestly, I was a total skeptic. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
And then I installed. Well, I didn't even have to install it on my computer, but I mean, I have it on my iPad and my iPhone, and it so far, and I've only been using it, like I say, 2 weeks as of this call, but I haven't had a single issue. And all the features that you talked about work. They're very easy to set up. Everything's easy to find. Are there limitations on, the length of the recordings and that kind of thing? Like, is there any hidden?
I think we limit recordings to 4 hours at this point. But even if you're doing like an all-day conference, chances are you have different speakers and you're recording each session.
Yeah.
And so we haven't had any problem with the 4-hour limit being a limit. But you can sit in your meeting room all day long and all night long if you want to. We have people who do that. They just leave their meeting rooms open, and people come in and then they hear the ding, and it's kind of like a ring, right?
Yeah.
So you can have your own little place on the internet where people can do a video call to you, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. One of my more aggressive or passionate affiliates. I won't mention his name for his privacy, but he's just a huge fan, right? So he's on one of our calls, and he learns that this other woman has her room open all the time. So and he's such a social butterfly, such a networker. So he just goes into her room. I mean, he was invited and to say hi, but it happened to be at a time when she had stepped away. But there was someone else who was in the room, because she was using MEETN to help. Well, she was getting tech support with her cable modem or whatever, or something. With the cable company, and so this super passionate affiliate guy is just in the stranger's room talking to this third-party stranger, the tech support guy from the cable company, selling them on MEETN.
No way.
Yeah, and so she comes back, and there's a conversation going on where this other guy is selling.
And she didn't get the sale.
Well, it was just funny. It was just funny.
That is funny. Yeah.
So people. One thing I've learned in business is that people will use your product in ways you never guess.
Yeah.
Like my conference call product. I was fascinated to learn a couple of years later that a lot of people actually were using my conference call product for silent meditation. And I'm thinking, it's a conference call product. The whole point is for talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you even doing? Like, what's the point of silent meditation? Well, that's actually just my own ignorance. I since have learned that part of the point of silent meditation is your coach or guru or whatever helping you in advance know how to meditate and their techniques and best practices and so on. And so that's the coaching part of it. And then you practice the silent meditation.
Interesting.
And then you come back and then you talk about what you experienced. And so it actually does make sense. But at first I'm thinking silent meditation on a conference. It didn't make sense to me until I learned more about it. I had people selling gourmet coffee on my conference call. And it's like the whole point is the texture and the taste and the aroma. But there's a lot of background information about which beans are which and grown in the acidic environment or cold environment on the mountainside or whatever, and the ethics of various geopolitical situations, and so there's a lot to talk about coffee, high-end coffee, and so I'm always surprised by what my customers are doing with the product.
Very cool. Yeah, you probably have no idea. There's probably hundreds of ways that that you can.
We believe in privacy. We don't monitor anything. And so we have kind of a free speech approach, which officially is non-political. I mean, anything becomes political these days, but our idea is this is your room, it's your private room. You guys are doing whatever you're doing in there, and then our only exception is if the proper authorities come to us with a proper warrant, then we will honor that because that's the rule of law.
Right.
But without a warrant, we're going to say no. That's not what we're doing here.
Right.
So I don't even know what people are doing on the system. But I know it would surprise me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean it's been really hard on my head. I'm like, I just never imagined I would find or encounter something that is legit better than Zoom. And I can say as of the time of this, there's no question it is in many, many ways. Affiliates. Yeah. Before we go, and I was going to try and demonstrate a bunch of the features on here, but where a lot of this is going to be listened to just audio only. I won't for now, but I encourage everyone to try MEETN, and I'll have the link in the show notes for the episode and whatnot. But tell us a little bit about the affiliate program, and that is something that's always irritated me about Zoom as well. That they don't have.
When Zoom first began, they had an affiliate program, but then
maybe that's it. Yeah.
When they got big enough, they canceled it. And they kept certain key partners, but they canceled their broad affiliate program. And thank goodness. I mean, that now we can offer an affiliate program. And like Google Meet, they have an affiliate program. But like you get Google Meet with Google Workspace. And when you sell someone on Google Workspace, guess what the commission is? It's a one-time payment of like $7 or something like that.
Wow.
Okay, it's a one-time payment of $7. And so the MEETN affiliate program, if you sign up for our MEETN Ultimate program, it's part of the MEETN Ultimate program, you get a 20% affiliate commission for as long as your referrals stay on as members.
Okay.
So we're just gonna keep on paying you. And I have decades now of experience with this. I have customers who signed up for my conference call service May 1st, 2007 when I launched that, and they're still customers. And the affiliates who referred them are still getting paid.
Nice.
It's amazing. But yeah. So the affiliate program is a residual program, 20% commission for all your referrals for as long as they stay on as customers. And one of the cool things we're doing, and I'm not aware of anyone else doing this, not only do you get your affiliate link that you can promote, but you also get this, your invite link. Like when you invite people to the meetings you're going to do anyway, your invite link is also your affiliate link.
Okay.
So just by doing the meetings that you're going to do anyway,
Yeah.
you're helping us by spreading the word about MEETN by inviting people
Right.
to the meeting.
Right.
So
Right.
I figure you deserve the affiliate commission, right?
Nice.
So just by using the product, you might get referrals. That's
Yeah.
certainly the hope. And so that's just automatic and built in.
That's good because there's a lot of software out there or things out there. You get a different link for your affiliate program, and you might lose out that way.
Well,
So,
I did the same thing with Instant Teleseminar, and I had people getting checks from me because back in the day, we were actually sending out physical checks. Now we do everything
yeah.
with PayPal, but they would call us up and said, who are you guys? Why am I getting this check? And part of me thought, well, that's kind of a waste if they don't even know that they're getting a check. But but I said, well, you're using our product Instant Teleseminar, and just by using the product, you're helping to promote the product, and so you've earned some affiliate commission.
That's awesome.
And so it does happen.
Yeah, that is really cool. Really, really cool. I mean, well, congrats on launching this and getting it where it is. I'm sure it's going to do great things. There's no question in my mind, and you will capture excuse me, you will capture a good chunk of the marketplace.
Well, I don't need Zoom's 300 million customers.
No.
That feels like a lot of work to me. I only want 100 million customers. That's all. Yeah, that's all. 100 million customers.
Much more manageable.
$50 million a month, or 50. What would that be? I don't even know the math.
It would be a lot.
Times 50. Is that
a lot?
Proof that you can make a lot of money. You can be a success without knowing basic math.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely.
There's just too many zeros at that point is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, 100 million times 10 is $1 billion, right?
Yes.
Times another 5 is $5 billion. So that would be $5 billion a month. That sounds like a Dr. Evil number, right?
It does,
$5 billion. I could do with $5 billion a month of revenue.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine, even what enhancements you would come
keep my
up
costs
with.
low. Just have Seth do tech support for everybody.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And make $4.9 billion a month of profit. That'd be great. That'd be great.
That would be okay. Definitely, definitely good to connect with you and get you on here. I will start spreading the word, no question about this.
Well, thank you, David.
And I do appreciate your time. It's not often someone gets to speak directly to the CEO and the brains behind the idea, and I do appreciate that today. And I look forward to whatever's coming down the pipe.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Okay.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the podcast. I hope you found that interesting. I mean, it's not often we get to talk with the actual developer of the product, especially with a software that's like MEETN, which as you heard, and you will be able to tell, not only rivals Zoom, but has many, many, many more advanced features. Very simple to use, especially if you're doing marketing online. So check that out. There's a link in the show notes for this episode where listeners to this podcast can get a very special deal where if you go past the 2-week free trial with MEETN and you want the ultimate package, you can get that for $19.95 a month instead of $49.95 a month. So check that out. And any questions, reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.